Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope everything is good. Hope everything is great. Everything here is disgusting. It's Halloween. It's Halloween. Tonight is the night when the barrier between worlds grows the thinnest. And it is severe thunderstorm warnings here and tornado warnings and all sorts of things. And so they've canceled trick-or-treating and have rescheduled it for Saturday. That sucks, you know. As a kid, this was always one of my favoriteest holidays, and we were poor, so very very rarely did I ever buy a costume. And I mean, this was in the 80s, so it's not like costumes weren't, you didn't go to Walmart and buy a costume. I mean, I guess you could have. We didn't have a Walmart then. So I don't know where you would have gone to buy a costume. There wasn't Halloween stores like there are now. We call them Toys R Us's, but they're now Halloween stores, Spirit Halloween stores. So Halloween wasn't a national holiday like it is now. You didn't go to the Halloween department and buy stuff. So anyway, the point is, we didn't have store-bought costumes. And in fact, like, there was a few years I can remember. I think there was a year when my sister wanted to be a clown, and so her and my mom made a clown, like, onesie, I guess. Like, they sewed it. But I would always end up making costumes. And like one year I made myself a Ghostbusters costume, and I vaguely remember it. I vaguely remember using a pie pan for the little thing on the back and putting it together. But the one costume that I still can recall that I was, I guess, proud of, I was a robot, or that's what I said I was. And I had found a box that fit my torso and a box that fit my head, and I'd cut eye holes in it, all very poorly. But I was excited about it, and I wore it. And the reason that I remember it, more than the reason that I remember most details, is because it smelled that cardboard smell, like all night wandering around the neighborhood with that cardboard smell and really narrow field of vision because of these two holes cut in a cardboard box. And this was the 80s, and it was there was like the D&D scare and witchcraft and Nazis. They were looking for blonde-haired, blue-eyed children, and every piece of candy had poison and razor blades in it. It was like a really serious, like, there was a lot of scare. And we lived right by a hospital, like 6 houses or 7 houses away from a hospital. And so I can remember the hospital would open up the x-ray machines and they would x-ray your candy for you. I mean, just crazy stuff like that. And there's no evidence that any of that ever happened. Nobody was stealing children. Nobody was poisoning children. There was no cult looking for blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids. There was no bag snatchers. Maybe there was a bully in your neighborhood that would, take your candy or whatever. But there was this, like, the thing that interests me about this whole situation is how easily disinformation spread then, and there was no internet then, and how, it parallels things today, like flat earthers and that sort of stuff, where the people were suddenly bringing up these really bizarre, like, obviously fake things, and people are buying into it. This happened in the 80s, and it was obviously fake to those of us living it, but to parents it was, this scary thing. Oh, don't do this, don't do that, because they're going to come after you, because that's what I heard on I don't know where they heard it. Where do you hear those things back then? I guess the news? Or they called, like, some mom network that called each other and spread these rumors? I don't know. But I feel like the difference today is that we have the ability to research these lies. Problem is nobody does. And so it still spreads. I still see people talking about razor blades and poison and everything else today, and there's no evidence of it ever happening. Whatever. But Halloween has always been a very special holiday for me. I have a history of alternate religion practice, So I wanted to believe a lot when I was a kid, and I wanted to believe a lot in the spiritual world and the boundaries between our worlds, and a lot of mythology, like true pagan mythology, the stuff that goes back millennia, stuff that really interested me, and I really enjoyed learning about those things and wondering about those things, wondering about how people discerned that on this night, the veil between worlds became the thinnest. I don't know. But it used to hold a place of almost even reverence, and now it's just kind of like a day. It happens, and it goes away, and I move on with my life, and nothing ever crazy goes on. But maybe this year, maybe there'll be a tornado, and it'll be crazy, and I can say, remember that Halloween tornado? That'd be fun. I mean, not fun in the sense that it would be great to destroy houses or even my own home, but it'd be fun to have at least something to talk about instead of just Halloween got canceled. That's where we're at today. That's what my brain isn't working straight, and I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. So thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, being wonderful people. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Alexa, tell me a random fact.
The current U.S. flag, with 50 stars, was designed by a high school student in 1958. He got a B-.
A B-. I'll show you, teacher.